Hello everyone, welcome to the channel once again. I'm continuing with the Power Automate series, and in this video we'll try to build a workflow from scratch. And the data flow diagram that you can see, this is the flow that we'll be making in this video. So what is the agenda of this video? You'll be able to learn how you can make approval workflow from scratch, how you can use markdown in approval mail. As you know, in the approval mail generated by Power Automate, you cannot send HTML tables. So there is an approach called markdown through which you create the tables, and then you will be able to learn how you can add additional buttons on the approval mails, like approve and reject is by default. If you want to add any other buttons like on hold, how you can do that you will learn. And then you will also learn how you can send HTML tables in V3 flash mails through Power Automate. And then you will also learn how you can use conditions and variables and different items which would be required to make this workflow. So I'll explain the workflow first, and then we will go to the lab. So this is my workflow. Once the inventory data is submitted, in my current demo it would be a SharePoint list. So I'll submit the data with the SharePoint list, and once a data is submitted, the status will be pending and the stage will be manager. So and a mail will trigger to a manager. Now once the manager approves, the status would become pending and a stage would become director, and a mail will trigger to the director for approval. So once the director approves, a mail will trigger to the initiator with manager in CC, and the status will become approved and the stage will become director. If manager rejects, then his status will be rejected and his stage status will be rejected and his state will be initiator, or I'll put stage as manager only so that initiator could know from which stage it has been rejected. And if director rejects, then the status will be rejected and stage would be director. So this workflow will be implementing in this video. So first I'll go to the SharePoint and show you my SharePoint list through which I'll be submitting the data. So this is my SharePoint list inventory test, which has the title column, status column, the stage column, inventory cost, manager and director. So I'll go and show the details. So I can go to list settings and you can see the status column. So what are the status which can be put? So there is a draft, there is a pending, there is approved and there is rejected. These are the status. And on the stage column, you can see there are initiator, manager and director. So these are three stages in my workflow. So once our workflow is built, we'll play with this status and stage and we will submit. And in the manager column, the person who will be receiving the manager's email and approving that person will be entered here, and in the director. So currently I have test user 4. I'll be using test user 4 in manager and director also, because in my tenant he is only able to receive emails because everything else has expired. So I'll use test user 4 as manager and test user 4 as director also. And I'll put in all the triggered mail, I'll put test user 4 so that I can show you that mails are getting triggered and other persons will also be in CC. So let's go to Power Automate and I can go to my flows, and these are the flow which we have created in previous videos. So I'll go to new flow and I'll check automated cloud flow. I'll write it test workflow from scratch, and this would be SharePoint. I'll select when an item is added and modified. So SharePoint when an item is created, when item is created or modified. So this we would be using create. So this is when item is created and modified. So I'll select my test 1, 2 and the list name is inventory test, and then I'll get the items. So I'll select SharePoint and get item. So here is my get item, but I have to get one item. So get item and then I'll select the SharePoint site, SharePoint list, and the ID which would be triggered. Other options are there, I'll leave it like that. Now I'll add another step and I'll slice the variables. Two variables I'll slice. One would be stage and other will be status. So variables, initialize variables. One would be status. It would be string value and the value would be status value. So status value. Now inside another variable, you cannot initialize variable later on, so you have to initialize all the variables here only in the static. So initialize variable, I'll assign stage, this will all be string and this would be stage value. Now my two variables are initialized. Now I'll add condition. So condition, I have two conditions based on status and stages, so I'll add two. Add row, one would be status. So once status and here I'll check stage. So once status is pending and stage is manager. So status is pending and stage is manager. So the form will be submitted with this status and stage. So if the condition satisfied, it should trigger a mail. So it would trigger approval mail. So approval. And what would be start and wait for approval. And I have to add approve, reject and on hold so that you can learn how you can add additional buttons. So if you select approve and reject and this by default two buttons come in the mail, so this would be there, but I have to add custom. So custom responses, wait for one response, and then here you go. So these were the buttons. Approve, these would be the buttons. Approve, second would be reject, the third would be on hold. So these would be three buttons that would be created. Create a title for approval. So this mail has triggered, initiator has submitted. So from, just to identify that which mail is getting triggered, from initiator to manager for approval. Assign to, now this will mail to manager, so I'll manager email, I'll type in, and then the details would be markdown. So now markdown, if I want to send the tabular data, I can use markdown. So how you can use it, you have this, you can use this link, I'll put in the description below. You can learn how you can use the markdown. So if you want to put any, suppose table, you have to put it like that. If you want to emphasize, bold it, so you have to put asterisk. So these were the things, italic, asterisk, bold, double asterisk. If you want to strike down the tiddler, so these things you can use. These are markdown. You can create it dynamically also. It's very similar to tr entity. You need to create and you can save in a column, and then you can add that column to the field. So that you can do. I'll copy this and then I'll put it here. So on the header I'll have title. So title, and there will be a cost. So cost, and then heading I'll leave it like that. You can remove it also. Title would be my title. So my title, and this would be my cost. So inventory cost. So if you want to remove it, you can remove it. I'll remove it, not required. And then If you want any information like this is auto generated mail, please do not reply, so this would be you can see the asterisk, so in between two asterisks it will be bold. So I'll put it forward. Now once the form is submitted, this mail will be triggered to manager, and now I have to add condition if manager approves or rejects. So condition, so this is the condition. So if the response, so if the outcome is equal to approve, then I have to send mail first. So I'll send mail v3, so send email notification v3. I have to send this mail to the initiator, which would be test user 1. So this is the mail, but his mail is not working, so I'll write test user 4 also, so that you can identify, I can show you the mail, that the mail is getting triggered. His email box has already expired. So subject would be manager has approved, and then here you can write in HTML. So this is a flash mail, and you can put in here, and you can write any HTML here if you wish. So all the HTML you can write approved by manager, and then thanks, something like that. So this mail will trigger, and then once he has approved, I need to update the SharePoint list also, so that SharePoint update item. So why I am updating is because once I update, then only the approval mail will trigger to the director. So I'll update the item so that, and I'll add a condition so that a director could receive a mail. So this should be my team site, this would be my SharePoint list, ID would be my ID, get item ID, title would be the title which I have got, get items. Now what is status I have to put? I have to put, so status would be pending, stage would be direct. So status would be pending, stage would be director, and inventory cost as it is, and that's all. So that's all. If he does not approve, if he rejects, then I'll send a mail to initiator that it has been rejected. So v3 again, mail. There is a v2 mail also, but there are restrictions on v2 mail, so that's why I'm using v3. So 2 again for test 1 and test 4 I'll send, so that I can show you the mails. So test 4 and test 1, sorry, test 4. So, and subject manager rejected, kindly modify and resubmit. And this also you can put in here as 2 times, and then you can make it bold, italic, whatever you like. Text you can change, so whatever you like you can do it. Link also you can do it, so I'll leave it like that. So this is done. Now I have to add another condition, parallel condition, because I am using when an item is created and modified. So once the item will be updated here, it will trigger again, this workflow will be triggered again. So that's why I'm using a parallel condition. If you have used when an item is created only, so you can add after update, you can send another this approval mail to the director, and then he can approve, and then that flow will go. But I have to show you that this is possible based on the condition, as this error happens that this will go in finite loop, but you can control it through conditions. So you can ignore this warning. So that's why I'm showing you this. So you can add this condition at a parallel branch, and then you can add condition. So this would be my condition, and again I'll check status and stage. So first will be my status, and I'll add a row, and this would be my status. So if the status is equal to pending and director, so this is pending and this is director. So these are the two status. If the status is pending, and so status is pending, and it should be stage. Yeah, so if the status is pending and stage is director, then it will trigger a mail. Then it will send an approval mail, start and wait and approval. And this time I'll use this approve and reject because I have already shown you how you can create the custom one. So approve and reject, first to respond, and the title would be this mail is getting triggered from manager to director for approval. And again I'll assign this to the director. So where is my director email? So I can search it here also, director email. So assign to director, and you will mark down any details if you want to submit. I'll just write mail after manager approval to approve. And if you want to put any link, you can put it. That's all. And that's all. Now I'll add condition. So what would be the condition? If he approves or rejects. So this condition, if the outcome is approve, so what I need to do, I need to send a mail first. So I'll add mail v3 to initiator, which is my test user 1, but his mail is not working, so I'll add test user 4 also, test 4, so that I can show you the mail is getting triggered. And the subject would be director approved. And if you want any data also, you can put it. Suppose the title I wanted to put, so I put the title, and inventory cost also I put. So director approved this and this. Off, I'll write it in this. And then any text you can write director approved. If you want to create any tables also, here you can create tables. So you can just put in this here, and then you can create tables how you used to create. So this table, and then tr and td. So I used to, it's very similar to that. So tr,
and then two TTs you can write TT and TT. So you can, like 2 rows I'll create. So, and what data in the TT you can, suppose you want to put cost, and second is title.
so in the cost I can write inventory cost. So inventory cost, and then you can use in title here. So this title. So the mail is triggered. Now I have to update the list also, update the SharePoint list. So I'll update item. So update item SharePoint, and then I can select the list. So this is my test list, and the list name is inventory test. ID I can select. So get item ID, title I can, it's mandatory though, that's why I need to update, otherwise it's not required if you remove the mandatory title. And then what the status I need to update. So I need to update the status as approved and stage is director. So status would be approved and stage would be director. So from the director stage it has been approved. That's, and if he rejects, then I have to send mail. So v3 mail again. So v3 mail, and I need to send to test initiator, which is my test 1, and to show you I need to send test 4, which is my, now you have to add CC also, so you can add CC here, and that would be my manager column, which is again test user 4. So manager email. So this mail you will see, body I can write rejected by director, and then again here also rejected by director I'll write in the subject. So that's all. Now I have to update the list item also, so that update list Sharepoint, and what this time I need to update as rejected. So this, and inventory test, and ID would be ID, and then the title would be title, and now here the status would be rejected, and stage I will maintain as a director, so that initiator could know that it has been rejected from the director. So Sharepoint list would be rejected. Now this update I need to also do after the rejection by manager, so I'll do that as well. So I think that's all. Our workflow is ready. From this, only thing I need to add one update. So condition 3 is complete. Condition 2, I need to just add an update here. So once he has rejected, he has not approved, he has rejected, I can, if you like, there is one on hold button also. So if he has not approved, there you can put another condition if he has rejected or put an on hold, and then based on that condition you can do it. So currently I am only targeting approve and reject. So I'll update item again, date item, and that would be Sharepoint, and then I need to select this, and the list would be my inventory list, ID would be my ID, and the title would be title, and then here the status would be rejected, and this rejection is from the manager, so stage would be manager. Okay, so that's all. My workflow is complete. You can see how easily we can create this workflow, and this flow checker is putting 4 warning, the same warning that it may go in infinite loop, but I know that I have put catered, I have catered already through condition, so I can go ahead. Now our flow is ready, and we recommend you to test it, so I'll go and test it. So I'll go to my Sharepoint and I'll put one entry. So this would be my test 1, status would be pending, and stage would be manager. So I'll check once again what we need to book, status pending and stage manager. So we have to submit data with this. So status pending, stage manager, inventory cost I'll put 5,000, manager again I put test 4, so that only he is only able to receive mail. So that's why director also test 4. Now I know attachments, then save. I have saved it, and our workflow should trigger. It could take some time, so we'll wait for that. Okay, so it has started and it's running, and a mail should trigger to manager who is test 4. So I can go to test user 4 to see his outlook. So I think this is my test user 4, and this is his mail, so I can wait others, so I can wait the mail get triggers. Status is succeeded. Oh, how come it has succeeded? Let's check. So we can click here and 0 seconds, so no condition was met. The condition was false. Ideally this should match, so I think something has gone wrong. We need to edit it. And what was the condition? Was status pending. Oh, so you see I have written pending, it should be pending. PND PNDING, pending, and status will be manager, pending and manager. So these kind of things happen. I'll also check the other one I have written pending or not. So here it should be pending. Okay, no issues, we will run it again. So I'll go to SharePoint list and I'll resubmit this with the same status and stage, pending and manager, and I can save it. So, and I'll wait that it runs again. So this is how, if something goes wrong, you can click in here and then you can see where the things have gone wrong. So like that you can troubleshoot also. So now this time it should work. So we'll wait for it to run. Now it has started, and now the test 4 should receive the email. So this time hopefully you will receive. So here is that to receive. So let's see. Okay, now you can see he has received from initiator to manager for approval. So this was, I'll explain this also so that you can better understand it. So what happens, it initialized and this condition it checked what is the status, pending, and stage was manager, so it triggered this approval flow. So what was this approval flow? From initiator to manager for approval. So the same thing you can see, from initiator to manager for approval, and this was our table, which is this markdown table, and this was our bold, this is auto generated mail, so this is auto generated mail, and we put 3 buttons, these 3 buttons, approve, reject, and on hold. So we'll approve it, and then once approve it will send mail, v3 mail, to test user 1 and test user 4 with approved by manager. So let's approve it. So I can approve from here, approve, and then submit. So it has approved. Now if the condition will satisfy, outcome is approved, then a v3 mail should trigger and the items should be updated. So you see, approved by manager, thanks. You can see approved by manager, thanks. So mail has triggered, and now the SharePoint status should be updated with pending and director. So I can go to the SharePoint. And reload this page so that I can see. Now you can see pending and director. So the status has also changed. Now once it updates the SharePoint list, once you update the SharePoint list, this flow again is called, because this is created and modified, and now it will, as the status is pending and the stage is director, it will go in this flow, and now it will trigger this mail. Now this mail should be triggered to test user 4 because he is the director I'm sending, and what would be the title, manager to director for approval. So I can go and check his mail. So this mail he has received, manager to director for approval, and this time we have used only by default approve and reject and have not added on hold. So this is their mail after manager for approval. I can approve it. So once approved, so now once approved, this condition will come, outcome would be approved. a email notification will be sent to test 1 and test 4 with this subject director approved, title this and this. So we'll see that. So I'll see submit, and the mail will be received by test user 4. Yes. And what is this? What the subject line? You can see director approved test 1 for 5000, as it is director approved, the title of and the font, and this is the body. So this was the body table. And after that, what it did, it should have updated the status approved and a stage as director. So we can go and check, we can refresh the page, and then you can see approved, status is approved, and a stage is director. So this is the one happy flow. We'll test another flow in which a manager would reject. So let's enter one more thing, test 2, and the status would be pending, and stage would be manager, inventory value will be 100, and again manager would be test 4 because I have only this email. Test again 4, and then save. Now pending and manager should receive a mail, so I can go and check. So this is my test 4. I can wait for his approval. So you can see the mail has been received, and this is for initiator to manager. Now I'll reject it. Now I'll explain again. So once I go here, now this was pending and manager, and this mail was triggered from initiator to manager, and outcome is approved. So last time we approved, now this time we'll reject. So once you will reject, you will this condition will be met, and this will initiator test 1 and test 4 will receive this email. So I'll reject. So just go and reject, rejected, and then submit. So once rejected, this mail will trigger. So he has received the email. Manager rejected, kindly modify and resubmit. Manager rejected. So same thing is written here. And after that, update items should be, status should be rejected, and stage should be manager. So we can go and reload the SharePoint list, and you can see status is rejected and stage is manager. So this is how you create a workflow. This is a real life scenario where these conditions are generally common in SharePoint, where approval flows are required to stage 3, stage 4, stage. So this is how you create it. I hope you learned something, and if you like the videos, please do like, share and subscribe the channel. Thank you so much. Have a great day.